Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Chrissy Sawyer here. Um, so over the weekend, I went on a really big journey, and I was given two big themes for June. And so I started writing and tapping into the energies and capturing thoughts. There's a lot of questions as well coming through. So it's kind of a little workshop. If you want to grab a pencil and your journal, I can probably leave you with some questions and thoughts that you might like to work on afterwards. And it wasn't until I got to the end of all of this this morning that I realized what I was speaking to. And what I'm speaking to is the new moon in Gemini, which is happening on the 6th of June, so 3 days' time from now. And that took me into a really deep dive into the astrology. And the astrology just keeps adding to the themes that I was sent over the weekend. This is a really potent week to become heart-led, really, to take action from the heart rather than the intellect. And everything seems to be supporting it and providing enough of a kickboard to rebel against. So I've typed up loads of notes, and I'm just gonna dance through them and see what else comes in. So welcome subscribers, old and new. It's lovely to have you here, and thank you for your beautiful comments on the last few videos. So June themes. Number one is nourishment. And for a start, I wonder what that word means to you. What is nourishment in your understanding and perception? So pondering deeply some revelations about our personal and collective relationship with nourishment. Now, nourishment comes in myriad ways. And you'll be able to name those when you tap into your energies. But for the purposes of my study, what I've done is I've chosen food because that's what came to me. And I was given this big vision. I'll read into it, but it's blown me away a little bit. It's very beautiful. So I'm choosing food to explore nourishment as a main theme for June. So relationship with food, personal and collective, and I'm presented with a storyline that's been hidden from view. It's been hidden in plain sight my whole life. So this is my personal experience. I have never seen my dad cook. It's a small thing, but it's massive in that I've never noticed it or considered it. And when my mum came to England, so my family is Sri Lanka, Malaya. And when my mother came to England, she couldn't boil an egg because previously she had quite a privileged lifestyle. Okay. And so already we're unpeeling this orange of my parents' relationship with food. So that takes me back a generation into my maternal and paternal grandmothers. And what I was shown was both my grandmothers raising children, a lot of children, alone due to the early demise of their respective husbands. And that made me wonder what level of nurturance and nourishments and secure caregiving were they truly able to offer their children? And how did this affect my parents' relationship with food and my relationship with food? So there's this karmic lineage opening up around our relationship with food. And how we are raised has a direct impact on how we relate to food in our adulthood. And so some questions. What is your relationship with food? Is question number one. And really ponder this, and maybe go back a generation, then maybe go back 2 generations to truly understand, yeah, your grandparents and parents' relationship and teaching about food as nourishment. And I'm guided here to just caveat this by saying, an experience is an experience, and I make no defending or justifying for actions taken, because, you know, I'm very wary of spiritual bypassing. And if the child is wounded, the child is wounded. And the trick to healing is to make contact with that wound and allow the energy to move through the body so that it can be reintegrated. And sometimes when we go to our modern understanding of compassion and understanding, we can make excuses for the parents and not get the benefit of that somatic, visceral healing that regenerates the energy, that lifts it. And so be unafraid to approach your shadow with love. Just love. Love is the great transmuting force, the highest vibration. Question. If food were a person in your life, who would they be and how would you describe them? If you were introducing me to food as a person in your life, how would you introduce them? Was there fun and laughter around the dining table when you were growing up? So one of my earliest memories of the dining table is elbows off the table. Okay, so I'm a military daughter, granddaughter, possibly great-granddaughter. I haven't gone that far back. So meal times could be a bit military, militant. I don't remember laughter. I definitely don't remember fun. Okay. And so growing up into adulthood, these were all things that I wanted to rewire and reprogram, because I'm basically a fun person and I don't have a problem with mess. It's part of the learning experience. But that's just my personal experience. And I share that to really underline the power of choice. Okay. Was there free-flowing conversation around the table, or was the TV on while you were eating? Or was there a distraction? Or what kind of emotional contact did food glue together? What is your earliest memory of being fed by a parent? And here we're talking about emotional connection, eye contact, loving touch, smiling, encouragement, fun. And when you've walked through those questions, there's a little summation here, if you like. So what did your parents teach you about food? What is your overall learning about food and your relationship to it? Is food just fuel, or is it something more? And that took me to exploring babies eating. Okay, so I watched a few videos about babies eating, and what an experience it is as a witness and bystander. So I explored something called baby-led solids. So you let the baby explore. And it's amazing because in like a moment, you see all the 5 senses come in, and they don't really have a strong sense of smell so much, but their taste, their gag reflex, and their vision all come in. And it's just pure joy when the baby is allowed to eat on its own terms, straight off the high chair tray, No fussing with cutlery or bowls or keeping tidy. It's just the baby is smiling and happy and in its flow, and it knows when to choke up a lump. All the instinctual responses to feeding itself. And mum is there, full eye contact. Mum is there sharing in the experience. I don't know where dad is. Dad wasn't in the video. That's worth mentioning. Okay, so we're talking here about our earliest memories to do with food directly connect to our emotional, to feeding our emotional needs and to physically nourishing ourselves. And I guess to exploring food, and I guess to having a deeper relationship with food. Okay, with me so far? So it's worth checking that out. Just find a baby video. I can share the link here, but it doesn't matter. There's thousands of them. And just watch. Just watch. So all of this has the potential to be one of our primal woundings, our earliest woundings. Yeah, we could stitch into that war and human displacement and the inability to find food, or access to food being taken away in a moment. I mean, if we're talking about parents and grandparents, we're definitely talking about two world wars and the potential to lose everything in a moment. And having no energy to give to a loving family environment around meal times. And again, we have choice. And do we blindly perpetuate that within ourselves without even noticing? Or do we actively and consciously fall in love with food or shift our relationship in some other nourishing way? So to bring focus to this primal wound, we have Chiron in Aries at 22 degrees, squaring the asteroid Eros at 22 in Cancer. Okay, so the 22 wants to build sensitively in a balanced and harmonious way, in flow. It wants to build in flow states. And that's the number of the master builder, which means we have the choice. So the power is in your hands, just in this one square. Chiron in Aries is the wound in the house of the self. It's that first house primal wound. And it doesn't get more primal than food, survival, sex. And then we go to Eros in Cancer, the home of the mother, the home of roots, family, how we express love, how we flow in that water. Again at 22. And Eros is love denied, love excised, love removed from the equation. And are we ready to reintegrate that love into our personal way of being? Also, this new moon is opposite the Great Attractor, which sits at 14 degrees of Sagittarius. The Great Attractor pulls galaxies towards it and is about attraction and integration. So all of this astrology, I'll read through it, but it all kind of supports this. Take it back. Take back. Love on your own terms. Take back your inalienable right to express love in your own way. So the Great Attractor, what I love about this point as a metaphor is it lies behind something known as the zone of avoidance. And this is where there is so much gas and dust in that pulling motion, because the Great Attractor literally pulls galaxies towards it. So there is so much gas and dust that our view in this spectrum is greatly compromised. i.e. we can't see beyond. And sometimes when we can't see beyond, when we're nursing an attachment to outcome, we don't take that leap because we can't guarantee the outcome. Okay. So there's something divinely unknowing waiting on the other side of the fog and the dust. Okay. So I see it as a point between the decision-making process and the sensory perception. It's the intuitive mind and the intellectual mind coming into a conversation, or the blind spot where we can't see the outcome of our actions and where we either make a choice to take a bold leap into the blind, or we avoid the shift, tell ourselves a new story and keep the timeline the same. It's choice. There's no judgment. But for all choice, there must be responsibility and accountability. Do we own the choice, or do we blame something outside of ourselves for it? Or do we make an excuse for it and maintain the wound? It's beautifully complex. Okay, so that's nourishment. Have a ponder about that. See what you come up with. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Number 2 is alignment to a higher love. The closer you get to love, the more you'll crave it and the lonelier you might feel. Trust this, it's part of the new alignment. And I'm imagining now someone on a trapeze, and it's that pendulum swing again. And love is coming in as a really high vibration. Okay. And we can't quite get to it. We know it's there and we know it within our bones. We can't quite get to it. And what that does, that triggers the aching. And it's going to trigger some new behaviors where we just let go and fly. Okay. Sorry. I might need to go and check the letterbox because I'm going to unveil a new deck of cards today, and there's another one arriving, and I've just heard the front gate go. So my curiosity, I need to go and check this out. Bear with me. So we now have 2 new decks of cards, and I want to say thank you to all who have made donations to the channel. It gets plowed back into cards to play with, new messages. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much. And thank you also to clients for overgiving with kindness and love. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Okay. So the closer you get to love, the more you'll crave it. And what it's doing is it's triggering an old memory of higher love, a higher expression of love, not human love. This is a higher expression of love. So it's about stepping into universal love as the divine within you. And it might present as galactic loneliness or the emergence of a now visceral memory of a love you once knew and may have been searching for your whole life. So this is part of the alignment. This is Sedna at work. This is part of the alignment to a kind of love that doesn't need, that has nothing to prove. It's a beautiful, see, I get lots of 9 energy with this love. It's the love wisdom. It's the love that teaches and receives and loves and expands and grows. It's not a fragile, conditional, weaponized, withholding love. There's none of that. And I know you guys know it, or you wouldn't be here. You're doing the work, I know you are. It's that human thing of something being just within reach and so close it exposes a deep hunger and longing. Trust the hunger and longing and move yourself towards the truth of it and feel it. Because we're making space, you know. And sometimes making space in the body can create physical symptoms like feeling sick, being sick, having a cold, burping, yawning. It's all ways of moving energy to create a bigger space for love. Questions? What have I connected to as compensation for what I'm unable to find here on earth? What have I connected to outside of me as compensation? And this is Sadhana again, asking the big questions about where we've sold out for love. How do my relationships nourish me? How do I nourish my relationships? So as I was writing those notes, I was sitting in the garden, this a couple of days ago, and under a clear blue sky, as I'm writing this, a hang glider flies over my garden. And the hang glider is a triangle. And then the next download came in. So as we consider the one of nourishment and the two of alignment to a higher love, we get three, the new blueprint, the divine blueprint coming in. We bring together the first three major arcana, the magician, so that's the initiation, the will, and the potential. The high priestess is accessing the mystery without Maya, without illusion. It's the releasing of the human dramatic mind. And number three is the Empress, which is like the connectivity of all life. She is the web of continual connection, let's say. The hang glider flies high in a clear blue sky and sees the big vision. So this is the eagle energy. Nourishment plus a higher love equals a new blueprint for all relationships. Relationship to nature, to animals and beasties, to humans, to your home, to your job, to your partner. This is the uplifting of the relationship by being heart-centered, by leading with the authority of the heart. So June is about seeking balance and harmony in the sixth of the heart. It's about aligning the inner and the outer experience of love and exposing the lies around love, the lies that we tell ourselves and the lies that we tell others. Collectively, we are in an 8-year and a 6-month. And again, if we use number and tarot, the 8 is, I count justice and strength, because somewhere along the timeline, those two cards got transposed. So justice and strength is that authority and courage. 6 is the lovers. And the lovers is about finding harmony in the polarity. So in the masculine and feminine, in the inner and outer worlds, to bring everything into alignment. 14 is temperance. And so temperance works diligently to bring into harmony the waters of the soul, the experience, to bring into harmony the experience. To act and behave in a way that's going on inside. So you'll know it all inside. This is the challenge, to bring what's within without, and to live in that, and to feel all the shifts and changes, because the field is going to move. When you move, the field moves. 5 is the Hierophant. That's kind of the, if we take religion out of the equation, because the Hierophant and the High Priestess are the Pope and Popess. And so one might say that this is the sovereign, feminine and masculine, finding harmony in their expression. So the feminine being the receptive, the masculine being the active. So again, it's that same challenge to bring what's within without. To say and do and be the thing that scares you, maybe. And so, June the 6th, we have a new moon at 16 degrees of Gemini. And the 16 itself is an alchemical number. It wants to fuse. It wants to fuse light into matter in a new way, 16-7. It's also the Tower card. So that might be the wobble that we can cause. We have potential to cause wobbles in a field that's maybe made up of untruths. So if we go to the astrology, we have tons of conjunctions and squares. So we have Sun conjunct Venus. So this brings in optimism, it's feminine characteristics. It's artistic and creative. So we can go in any direction. And the Sun is square Saturn. So here's the kickboard. So that's going to speak to self-esteem. And a classic is working harder makes me better. Okay, well, that's a self-esteem based value statement. And remember, the sun illuminates and the moon ruminates. So the moon wants to bring up to the light that which is hidden. Moon square Saturn speaks to people who are unable to express their feelings. There's some beautiful challenges in here, but it's like our solar system is going, go on, shaking its pom-poms. So moon square Saturn speaks to the mask, the illusion of busy doingness makes me insert words here. And it may trigger a sadness in the realization that you don't need to do anything to be loved. It's bringing us into nothing left to prove. It's sovereign, nothing left to prove. Moon conjunct Venus. So this brings in the charming diplomat. And that's, I mean, remember, we're in the house of Gemini, which is all about communication, storytelling. And the charming diplomat will have the tools and skills to find new words to shift the field. So, because it doesn't have to, I'm quite a blunt person, but you don't have to be blunt. I wish I wasn't, but I am, and I'm not fighting it because I'd have to move into pretense. But charm and diplomacy can speak volumes when you play with them, as communication tools. So that's there in that moon conjunct Venus. And again, moon conjunct Venus seeks harmony. Okay. So Mercury is conjunct Jupiter. This might be fast. I've noticed this energy. It's just made sense to me, actually. This is fast. So this is the realm of thought and a desire for learning, knowledge, traveling, theology, philosophy, curiosity, just curiosity. And there's more than one way to peel an onion. Freedom of expression. Aren't we all moving towards that? Choosing inspiration over education. Okay. Mercury again is trine Pluto. Again, trines are lovely, they're harmonious, and they help us build those new blueprints. And here with Mercury and Pluto, we have strong will. So it's magician. This is the tempered soul coming in, the fool coming in. Oh, the battleur who has nothing left to prove. He's fought every battle. He's been humiliated in 37,000 different ways. He's nothing left to prove. He's integrated the experience. Okay. So harmonious aspect with a strong will, clear opinion, and persuasive skill. But Pluto is the underworld. So have I written that as a question? Pluto is the underworld. So are these strong virtues buried or hidden or alive and visible? And like I say to many, many clients, it's okay for you to be a bit intimidating. It's okay for you to be fully intimidating, as long as you're expressing from the absolute truth of your core. Jupiter is sextile Neptune. It's another lovely position. But that speaks to reformation. That's your Pope coming in there. Reformation, reformation, law and cosmic order. So this is this is this is massive. This is moving planets around. It's 12-3. That does seek order. There's a 12-3 hidden in that. That does seek order. And then we have Jupiter trine Pluto, another harmonious aspect, giving people persistence, decisiveness, and a desire for self-realization, which says, get it wrong, aim to miss. Stand up, do it again. This is temperance. Refine the process until it feels it's just clicked in. Oh, I've got that now. And then the 9 dissolves it into wisdom. And finally, Chiron in Aries is square. Eros in Cancer. Have I done that? Did I do that? I don't think I did. I seem to remember speaking about that. Let's do it again. Yeah, Chiron in Aries is square to Eros in Cancer. I have done that. I can hear myself now. Okay, so all the challenging aspects are challenging kind of familial training, how we were trained to behave as children around nourishment and love. What does that mean to you? What is love? Do you know love? Have you really known love? Okay. So, first deck. Through the Eyes of the Soul by Cheryl Yambra Rose. So I worked with this deck this morning and I asked the deck what it wants to be. And 2 cards came out, but one I'm going to read to you. So 50, the higher mind. This is like the uninterrupted, pure mind. Beautiful. Explore other realms. The voyage of male doing. Male doing. Where you are is exactly where you should be. Do not look for an outcome, but at the wisdom gained on your journey. This ancient tale was written down at an extraordinary time in history when the belief systems of Druid and Christian created a curious literary mix, literary Gemini communication. And this is like, beautiful. This is rewriting our cultural story. This overlapping of cultures illuminated the Dark Ages with spiritual voyages of transformation. Heroes and monks drifted off in symbolic boats, Zeta. Guided by the gods of their faith, this was called the Imram, or journey of initiations. That's fool/magician. For Maelduin, it started with the lower vibration of revenge and ended after a series of tests and trials on various mysterious islands with illumination and peacemaking. The Celtic symbol of the apple branch represents travel to the other world, and the birds are spirit. This is the classic hero's journey, the going and returning of the hero or heroine, and their attainment of spiritual transformation, which adds to the wisdom and evolution of their culture. Right. So this is about rewriting our cultural history. And the other card that came out, be curious and look deeper. So we've got some beautiful shamanic energy coming in, inviting us to go through the physical into the metaphysical, to pick up all the metaphors and the signs and the keys that are dropped at our feet every single day. Okay, so that's what this deck wants to be, which I think is rather beautiful. And we'll pull some more cards from that deck. And we also have this, Resurrection, by Jenna della Grottaglia. Sorry, Jenna. Okay. I'll read you these words. Here is a place that is complex, full of events, emotions, and moments that shape us continually. And so, oh, wow. And matchy matchy. And so, if we welcome the cards and ask the cards what they want to be, who they want to be in this family of messages, messengers. There's a lovely feeling of glee coming through these cards. Beautiful. First card out. Return to innocence. This is the divine child, isn't it? The innocence of the divine child that may have been punished for playing with its food, that may have been punished for making a mess, exploring, learning, trying to grow, being stymied. Yeah. Got the Wheel of Fortune coming in here. This is literally turning the wheel. This is such a pivot point. I mean, June is, if we assume there are 12 months in a year, and I have a question mark over everything at the moment, this is such a turning point. This week is so potent. So, this deck's mission is to return us to innocence, bring us to a coming of age, graduation. Okay, and so we're gonna put this there, and we're gonna pull some cards. Okay, what else do we need to know about nourishing a higher love? 12, can't make this up. Yeah, here's the communication. This is the courage to share your wisdom. The wisdom is the learned experience. So you're not telling anybody what to do. You're sharing your experiences. This also speaks to ownership, accountability. My experience is not your experience. So that's going to invite a stronger container for communication. It's going to challenge where we project, blame, justify, defend. Share your wisdom with others. Shine your light. Okay, let's talk to shine your light. What happens if you shine your light? What happens when you shine your light in school? What happens when you were brighter than your teachers? What happens when you surpassed your parents? Your light's still there. You can absolutely dance in it, but you have to reach. Yeah, that's beautiful. Inner child. How much of what you learned as a child are you still living in now? Question one. Question two, and how does that serve you? And how does that nourish you? Bear with me. I've written a sentence down somewhere. I think I've written it in my etheric journal, my off-planet journal, because it's not in my notes. Yeah. So return to innocence. And we have inner child here. How do you communicate with your inner child? Do you communicate with your inner child? Do you have a relationship with your inner child? Do you have a relationship with your inner adolescent? Because again, if we're talking about alignment, bringing all parts of the self into harmony, then we speak to the child, the adolescent, and the adult. Okay, beautiful. What are the messages? But I don't know how. Invent. The mother of invention. Empress, Cancer. Beautiful energy this is. Invent. What if I get it wrong? So get it wrong. Reinvent, Mercury. Rethink. Do it again. If you have to do it 97 different ways, it's all part of the experience. But exploration has been beaten out of us. Just if we just take the education system that is designed to push the child into the left thinking, rational, reasoning brain and out of the receptive, passive sensory perception, intuition, creativity. Yeah. So finding your spirituality. Can I add to that? Allowing yourself to connect with spirit, allowing spirit in. And spirit and active intelligence, that first triangle of creation is the active intelligence, fire and will coming in, is going to challenge you. Active intelligence seeks to create something new. And a blinding flash of insight might be odd, unusual, scary. What, really? So allowing spirituality to find you. And the most beautiful description of spirituality I've ever heard was by Sadhguru, who described spirituality as the endlessly seeking intelligence. I love that. Endlessly seeking has no ego, has no attachment to outcome or getting it right, earning the points, or even selling out to look good in a crowd. It's the fool. The endlessly seeking intelligence wants the experience, free from all the Maya, the illusion of the mind, the contorted, twisted, acquiescing, behaving mind that thinks before it acts. Since intuition, take action. Well, okay then. Okay, I'm going to go to the Light Seers Tarot and bring this down a little bit. And what would it help us to let go of is a question I'm holding. What can we consider letting go of? got fear of injury coming in. Fear of injury. That is the Ten of Swords. Dead, done, over with. And it's 12:21. Whose authority? Oh, gosh, I love that. Yep. Ten of Swords. It's done. But does that answer the question? Did you answer the question? I don't think you did. Don't rethink the already exhausted thought. That's it. That's what to let go of. Don't rethink. Stop rethinking the already exhausted thought. The thing you've done again and again and again. Yeah, it's the definition of insanity. We keep doing the same thing and we call it something different because we're somehow resistant to just fracturing the container and opening our wings and without even knowing if we can fly. It's letting go of the trapeze. Wow, that's beautiful. Okay, so I've caught half the deck with my body. Half the deck is broken away here to expose. That's beautiful, elegant, cool. Creating straight from the void with nothing to prove and nothing to fear. Wow. Yeah, that's, ooh, Lordy, that's a lot of energy there. Underlying is the tower. Let it fall. Just let it fall. Oh, goodness me. Let's pop that one there. 8 energy coming in. The magician coming in. What are you doing? I don't know. Or are you just wasting time? That's a classic. Wasting time. Spirit's like, over here. Look over here. I'm lighting it up with a rainbow. This hasn't worked out. Unlucky in love. Look over here. Put your energy here. Gorgeous. Okay, let's start wrapping this up then, peeps. Yeah, alignment, nude passion. Oh, interesting. Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous. We've got another lovely underlying story here. Yeah, that's nourishment, isn't it? Oh, why is that inverted? I'll come to that. Ah, right. Okay. So 4 of Wands speaks to the alignment, building a new foundation. Ooh, spiritual fire coming in here, building a new foundation, alignment. Rebirthing passion. This is like va-va-voom on your own terms. There's a dare in here. Oh, interesting. What this is bringing me today is the courage to swim against the tide. It's the courage to swim against the tide and rethink what your 10 of Cups is. Rethink it. and then rest and drop in to that Queen of Cups energy that can sit deeply in the emotion, nourish with the emotion. Rethink what fair exchange means. Balance. Rethink that. And own your chariot. Very strong energies here. That's fabulous. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. Final card, please. Get your kid on. Play. Return to innocence. Return to innocence. Allow me to give compassion and love to that little one. Let me attend to its deepest needs and feelings. That's beautiful. Yeah, what was that? Do you know what your deepest needs and feelings are? Do you know? Because only then can you serve them. That's gorgeous. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with my love. Happy new moon. This is going to be a stunner this week. All the energies are supporting that shift from overthinking and not quite giving it everything into just this rebirth of truth, the kind of truth you get from a child that is unfiltered, but full of joy, you know, return to innocence. Okay. Take care. Have a great week, and I will see you all again soon. Bye.